What's up, good people, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I am your host, Comedian 96, along with Freddie G, K Money, and Slash. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men, and welcome to Black Friday. Before we get into our topic for today, I need everybody that's on YouTube to go out and subscribe. Click on the like button. If you're on Twitter, follow us at 52 Scott Podcast, and on IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. All right, and welcome to another edition of Black Friday. Today's topic, blacks and the crab in the bucket effects that we have. All right. Before I get into this, man, you know that we got number 47 in office.
Yeah.
So this
Which
is
was
the time,
also what, 45?
45 and 47. So with all the new things that he's signed off on already, the DEI and the upcoming things, it's so many things. A lot of us as blacks, I will say a lot of us as blacks, I'll say most of us probably don't want to see him in office.
No.
Yeah. So
But what, 20% of them voted for him?
Exactly. 20 voted for him, so I don't understand it. So most of us don't want to see us in office. So this is the time where, as blacks, not just as blacks, just all Americans that don't want him in office.
All Americans.
We should be able to come together as a people.
We're not going to do it.
It make too much sense, bro.
Exactly.
We're not going to do it.
But for this, the crabs in the bucket, this is mostly black. So this is who I'm talking to. I'm talking to them. So the term crabs in the bucket refers to a metaphor in which individuals within a group undermine each other's success, often out of jealousy or a fear that someone else's progress may diminish their own. The phrase is sometimes used to describe situations where members of a community or a group pull others down rather than uplifting each other. So I got like 10, 12 examples of that. And I'm also going to take us back. This crab in the bucket, this is not new. This is not new. You're going to be, I have 15 examples in our history where this actually happened. But before I do that, let's go over these, basically the definitions in different ways. So the first one is jealousy of success. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. We see it a lot, like you say, in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one.
Yeah, that's what I say. It is. No, we can't be happy for somebody. We got to talk about them.
Well, for one, not just that. The people not going to support you to get to a successful point.
Yeah.
That's the crab in a bucket mentality.
It is.
And I think that part is much more important than you being successful, because now you can't even be successful on the count of your friends. You got to go outside of the people you know and meet people that you don't know to be successful.
Yep.
Your friends not going to help you.
Yep. And I think number two, undermining achievements. I think it falls in reference. It falls right with the jealousy of success. Undermining achievements, talking about somebody, you know, I'm talking about just because he went to Howard.
Hating.
Yeah.
It's called hate.
Yeah. It trips me out. You will congratulate somebody that did 15 years in prison.
Right.
But let somebody come home and say, man, I just got my master's at Duke. Oh, you think you all that? How many times we done heard that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Undermining achievements. Internalized racism. This is a good one. I'm not 100%. They says this can make manifest in African Americans, individuals who, because of systematic racism, internalize negative stereotype about their own race, and in turn perpetuate them within the community.
Well, that kind of falls up under that the previous one, right?
Yeah.
Question though. You said how we could graduate from a prestige institution and we could be headed on because we graduated from that prestigious.
Yep.
Do we? Is it do we know that those that do graduate from those type of institutions, do they act as if they're better to be?
I can name.
I mean, because we can
what?
get a big head sometimes when we've achieved a lot.
You know what? Oh my God! You know what? I can name 2 off the top of my head. One girl, one guy. That thought they were too much. So that kind of
trigger.
Yeah, it will trigger you. Like, I actually knew a girl that says, if you don't have a bachelor degree or better, you can't be my friend. So
that could trigger that type of crab mentality.
Yep.
Behavior.
And the guy was like, well, I'm not going to listen to nobody that don't have a master's degree or better. So, I can see that. I can see that. That makes sense. All right, number 3. Oh, that was number 3. Sorry. Number 4. This one is. I think this comes from all races. Professional sabotage. Professional sabotage. That means somebody's just trying to smile in your face, but all the while going back and tell on you.
Yeah, that's somebody that's got something to lose, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it could be their job in jeopardy.
Or they're trying to win your spot.
Their job in
they're
jeopardy.
pulling you down
to get to where you are.
Ooh, man, yeah. Competition over resources. Competition over resources. Well, they mean neighborhoods where economic opportunities are scarce. African American individuals may compete fiercely for limited resources. That's usually around the storms when we're trying to get some bread. Let me stop. Let me not laugh. This is not even a joking matter. Okay. 8, exclusion in social circles.
You on number 8, bro?
Yeah, I thought you was just 4.
It was. I skipped over 2. They kind of all fall in line. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
I skipped over 2 because they fall in line. So one was colorism. We'd already been over that, and the other one was competition over resources. So that's why I just skipped over it. Okay, so like I said, exclusion in social circles. I see that. I wanted to pledge to be alpha, right? But I forget what happened. They just said I didn't fit. Because the alphas are kind of bougie a little bit. Kind of uppity. So I could see that. There was a black. I ain't gonna say what college, but it was a black.
Oh, you wasn't cute enough?
Yeah, I probably wasn't cute enough. I was tall enough. I don't know. I don't give a damn. Either way, I'm glad I didn't pledge. I didn't want to be a part of an organization. I'm glad I didn't pledge anyway. Number 9, discrediting leaders. That's still talking down, like maybe a leader, you discrediting them and not giving them their flowers or whatever.
There's not many black leaders now that we can even give credit to. In reality,
you know what? You're right.
Because they're not standing up like they used to in, the civil rights movement days. And right now, because we are almost put back before the civil rights days, we need to rise up again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And get out in the streets and protest in order to get this man out of office.
All the more reason to come together.
And that's all people, not just black people. Everybody who feel and I've talked to different, people, white people, older white people, 60s, 70s, saying our president is nuts. And they his age.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't see why he's doing what he's doing, but it's something going on, more than what we know. But yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel that. It's not, we need leaders though.
Yeah. Now, 10, 11, and 12 should have been, and I'm going to go over each of these because they should have been number 1, 2, and 3, not 10, 11, and 12. 10 is failure to collaborate. I know you finna hit that one, Slash. That means we were just talking about the music industry here in Houston.
Yeah. And the reason why it's like it is because the people won't get together and work together. People don't know what a society is when you have help from each member.
Yeah.
you make a better society when each member of the society help each other.
Exactly.
On
They're-
the same page, working together towards the same
towards
goal.
the same goal. It doesn't matter whose record sell the most. Everybody's record gonna sell.
Exactly.
That's how the community should be set up. But again, it's the same in this politician or political world. If we don't all stand for the same thing against this one guy that stands, he's the only one stand for what he stands for, apparently.
Yeah.
And the problem is you got so many people that's afraid to say anything. That's where we having issues, But
I have a question before you move on.
Yes, sir.
So, one of the things you said is that's a crab in a bucket mentality because you're reading off.
I'm reading off
of what you
different
think,
definitions.
different signs of different things that could be associated
With crabs
being crabs in a bucket, right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the things was pretty much talking down
Yes.
on an individual or hating on an individual, right? So, what would you say? And this is for anybody to answer. What would you say Snoop Dogg performing for Donald Trump and people coming back at him talking down on him for performing for Donald Trump? Would that be black folks tearing another black man down for getting his money?
somewhat yes and somewhat no.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
Slash.
who
Because-
he's representing.
It's the purpose of why you're doing it.
To get his money. The
Right,
purpose
but-
is I'm going to get this money.
Knowing that the person you getting the money from's purpose has nothing to do with your purpose.
Yeah, his
That's
intentions.
where it bothers me, because you knew this man's intentions wasn't, great for our people.
So now this is not me taking up for Snoop or Donald Trump, none of that stuff. Y'all know where I stand on that. But I'm just giving food for thought to discuss, right? So with Snoop going to perform to get his money to take care of his household, we don't know who Snoop voted for.
Exactly.
We don't know none of that.
None of that.
All we know is he performed for this man. Now, there's black folks
That's hate.
who have an issue with him going to put food on his table.
And not to cut you,
Go ahead.
but Snoop don't need that money to take care of his family.
Well, he
Snoop don't need the money Trump gave him to take care of his family.
I
Man.
totally agree with you, but I will say this: I'm on the fence, and this is why. The only reason why I'm on the fence is because my favorite comedian, Cat Williams, had a joke, and it was not really a joke. It was actually this happened in real life. He had a roast, and I know you guys probably remember this. He had a roast with Flavor Flav, right?
crispity, crackety.
Crunchy,
Crispity,
coon.
crunchy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Coon.
They got to pay me, boy.
There you go. Now, if you can remember, Cat said, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. So he said, man, don't you worry about that. They got to pay me, boy. So he's going to go on a national televised show to get talked about. Cat didn't want to do it. However, Flavor gave Cat the okay by his response. It's, to me, I know Trump is not, you get it, but I think one is worse than the other.
So the Flavor Flav deal, really, why I wouldn't good
Analogy.
right, but why I don't appear him to be the same is because it wasn't a host of white people talking about Flavor Flav.
But that's the point,
that's
though.
the point.
The point is black people, crabs in the bucket.
Crabs
black
in the bucket.
people putting other black
we
people
was talking
down.
about,
And
we
then-
was talking about Snoop and Donald Trump. And
Yeah, but the
knowing
black people that's
what-
putting Snoop down,
But
down
Snoop
there.
is his own reason for that.
Right.
Because he don't need that man money to feed his family. Snoop has made so much money without Donald Trump being involved in anything. and whatever reason, you know for a fact that this man's intentions wasn't there. I feel like Snoop shouldn't have done it. I feel like he sold us out as a race, which he did, because when the other people did it, he talked bad about them.
Well,
you feel the same way
if
about
he did it for money, he sold out. However, there are other reasons why he possibly did it. Which,
The only other
I'm
reason could be is because he pardoned his compadre.
Did you feel that same way about Nelly?
Yeah, because I don't know what Nelly said, but I know when them other black people performed for Donald Trump, Snoop had a lot to say about that. And then here it is, you turn around and jump your ass in here about the money, but you said what you said about this man. I feel like, so all that about him need to feed his family. Damn that. Snoop got money. He don't need that.
Let me ask this.
I'm with you now. I'm leaning to Slash. Go ahead.
No, I know you got to move on to the next thing. But, and again, this is not me taking up for Snoop, Trump, none of that stuff. Y'all really know how I feel about all of that.
Yes.
But, again, food for thought, right? So it sounds to me like the crabs in the bucket mentality, and people feel like crabs in the bucket is happening for whatever, only if it lines up with how we feel. If it lines up with how we feel, like for instance, if I'm looking at something and I'm like, okay, man, black folks are always talking bad about people driving fast on the freeway. Just make some stuff up. And K Money feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, I feel the exact same way. Then, okay. But you don't feel like, Comedian 96 don't feel that way. So it seems to me like, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but only time crabs in the bucket really applies is if somebody agree with how the same way you feel. And then they'll say, well, we need to stop being crabs in the bucket and stop pulling people down, if that makes sense.
People need to just keep it real with reality. Because any two ways, if you overlook a situation because you think it's a crab in the bucket fact and not reality, then there's an issue. Because that means somebody not keeping it real. And in order for us to sustain as a good country, people got to be for real out here. It's too much fake shit going on right now. Let's keep it real. Let's be for real. If your opinions matter, the world would know.
That's
my opinion don't matter to nobody. Your opinion don't matter to nobody. But what we see people do is what matters. And when it doesn't align up with reality, I'm against that shit. Let's be real.
True that. I knew that we would be spend a lot of time on these last three, especially these next two. Well, actually these three. The next one, number 11, social media hate.
It's a lot of that.
Woo! Yeah. The drill rapping. You on social media 1 minute and now you getting shot at.
It's a lot of that. Social media has become the most informative media source that there is. People are on there more than they watch the news.
Yeah, because information is getting out quick.
And it's wrong information a lot of the time.
A lot of
misleading.
times.
Very misleading.
Exactly. I told you with the Mike Tyson fight. Remember I told you I thought that fight had happened because they had shot out a video and Mike Tyson knocking out Jake Paul. Yeah. And the whole time it was AI. Freddie G had to point it out. Man, that's AI. It's a damn good job of it. But it's AI.
Yeah, it's a lot of falsified information.
So I have a question. Old school rappers that look at new school rappers and be like, man, I don't know what the hell they saying. These rappers ain't rapping worth shit. These motherfuckers ain't doing nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Would that be considered a crab in the bucket when this guy's making his music and he's true to his art form? This young guy is true to his art form, and now this old guy is, because he don't like the way it all sound the same. It's all this and all this. And this man is trying to get some money and get on. He may not be rapping whatever he's rapping about. Whatever. It doesn't always have to be murder, murder, kill.
Yeah.
Right? But an old rapper is disliking what he's putting out. Would that be considered a crab in the bucket?
Low key hating, crab in the bucket. I say yes. And,
So
and go
you
ahead.
say yes.
I wouldn't say low key hating.
I say go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
I do feel kind of Slash mentioned and keeping it real. Now this man is giving his opinion on something that he's hearing that he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can see kind of in a sense, Freddie G, that it could be a crabs in the bucket mentality slightly, but I also feel that this man has just been giving his constructive criticism.
Well, I'm not saying whether or not it is or it isn't crab in the bucket. I'm just
Okay.
asking.
He's asking.
Is this considered crab in the bucket?
I think if, and this is just me, listeners, I look at the reality of it. If what the man is saying, this new rapper saying, is trash and have nothing to do with what's going on in life and to help him better succeed, hey man, I don't see a reason why. What is this dude saying? I'm gonna say the same thing. I don't feel what you're talking about. If there's no reality in it, and I'm not hating, I don't feel like I'm trying to pull you down because, number one, I can't stop you.
Mm-hmm.
This is my opinion of how you feel. Again, my opinion don't matter to nobody. But if it's reality in what I'm saying, the shit that you saying is trash, I'm going to say it. I feel like that about a lot of today's rap. I don't understand what y'all saying. I don't feel it. And in order for me to be on top of it and like it, you got to say something to me the way I've never heard it before. Most of this stuff these people are saying, they saying the same thing everybody else said.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is it's opinionated, and because you're sharing your opinion on your taste in rap,
Right.
that's not considered
It's not considered
crabs in the bucket.
Mm.
I would think to classify it as crabs in the bucket, say that we talking about this same scenario, a high percentage people do like this music, but Slash or say somebody else is saying, that no, I don't
That's
like the
not
shit
it.
that you play. Yeah. That more or less would sound more like crabs in the bucket. But
Exactly.
if your music is not playing or you're not getting no plays, then obviously what he's telling you is very valuable.
So my look of what would be crabs in a bucket, from my point of view, for old school to young school, is me saying, man, I like the little young nigga, he jamming, but I ain't gonna give him no track. That's crab in
That's
the bucket
crab in the
mentality.
bucket. No, what about this? Okay, since you said that. Now, I see a lot of interviews, and I know Freddie G see them too. The rappers, the older rappers, our generation, they'll say the only reason why these trash rappers, or we call them trash rappers, we call them whatever kind of rappers they are.
Yeah.
The only reason why they make it is because of social media. We didn't have social media back in the day. And in my mind, I'm like,
That's true.
get your ass on
you know
social
what?
media now.
That's true, but I'm not gonna blame
That's
today's technology on them being.
But that's low key
the
hate
crab in
because
the bucket.
all they got to do is jump on them famous rappers that's been talking about the younger generation.
Yeah, that's all they
jump
gotta do.
your
And-
ass
but
on
most
IG
of them
too.
are now. Most of them are getting out there and
hardly
releasing
see,
albums.
I see LL on podcasts, but before that, before his this brand new new one he just did, you ain't never see him on no podcast. You ain't never see him on IG or the only person rapper I see is Will Smith.
Yeah,
That
well,
of
he's
our
more
generation.
movie.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's anybody else, they don't drink chaps or podcasts like that. But they're not constantly on IG, Facebook trying to promote.
That's
like
true.
that.
And that's a start to be in these podcasts, and eventually they'll realize
Yeah.
that today's form of promotion is
Yes.
different from what it was back then.
Very much so.
It's everything promotion wise is social media.
Yeah,
online.
And while we on rappers, let's talk about our own Houston rappers. The first time we could actually have a Batman and a Batman on the same track, and I know y'all know where I'm going with this. Batman and Batman, not Batman and Robin, two Batmans.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing since EPMD, these two gentlemen want a beef, and it's the only chance we can have two Batmans.
So
And
let me ask you this: who are you speaking about? on
you are
this?
Trader Truth
and Zero.
and Zero. And are they cousins, if I'm not mistaken?
I think they just real good friends, man. You know how a lot of
We always
Houstonians
say,
have
yeah.
a cousin, and it's really not
Not
your
their
cousin, but
cousins.
it's somebody that you've been around for so long, so you just consider
Yeah.
yourselves as cousins.
Yeah.
Which
Crap.
is a form of a street family.
Crabs in the bucket. What's going on? I don't know what's going on, but is that a form of crabs in the bucket? Whatever's going
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's just bad business that they had going
Yeah,
on.
I don't think neither one of them is hating or stopping each other from doing what they do.
For you to put your hands on this man and jump on this man, that's hate.
On the internet.
That's
you
hate.
could have did that at home.
And the reason why I say that is because Zero's career has always been at that peak.
Yeah, you could have
Trey
did that at
hasn't.
home.
Give your definition of crabs in the bucket again.
Refers to a metaphor in which individuals within a group undermine each other's success.
Okay, undermine each other's success. Now, I don't know the whole deal about what's going on, but from my understanding is that, of course, some incarceration happened and taking charges of what was mine versus what's not mine and all of that. And so it caused a feud, but I don't think neither one of them undermine each other's success.
Man, any two
Yeah,
ways,
it's true,
I still feel like any two ways you get somebody to jump on that man,
Yeah.
and y'all supposed to have been cool,
I'm with
is
you,
undermining
Slash.
this man's success.
I'm with you, Slash.
What are you hating on me for? What got to this point to where you feel like you gotta have somebody jump on
And
me?
why you had to put it out on the phone, put it on the internet?
And now you got it online.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Well, that's just today's world we live in. Everybody got a damn phone,
But
and there's
again-
something
but
negative
here-
going on.
that
but
goes
here's
back
the
to
thing.
that goes back to do you ever see Trey the Truth on the internet at all? No.
even though
Yeah.
that's today's mentality.
I see Trey all the time.
Even though that's
Okay.
today's mentality, them
My
niggas
bad.
didn't come from today. They came from where we came from, where it
Right.
wasn't no internet
Right.
stuff like that.
None
So
of
why
that.
you switching over to this foolishness?
There you go. That's
That's
the point.
that I say. That's when I say it's a fact of reality.
Yes.
When reality takes place and you going against the reality of it, yeah, you undermining that man's success by doing what you're doing and trying to put him all on social media, make him look weak.
trying to make them look bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
That's crab in the bucket.
That's crabs in the bucket. Lobsters. Let me stop.
Bigger arms.
All right, this last one, y'all, and this I actually had some great articles, 15 articles I mentioned earlier in the show that I would go over. However, I'm going to make a part 2 to this show. Some very interesting facts from since slave days all the way to current. So come back in exactly 4 weeks. If you don't know our rotation, we switch up Fridays. Each of us have our own days. Slash has Mondays. K Money has Tuesdays. Wednesdays is Freddie G. I have Thursdays. Comedian 96, and then we just rotate Fridays. So, 4th Friday from now, come back, and you will see the 15 incidences of crabs in the buckets that we did. These are people you know, and it's gonna trip you out because I didn't know these things. This is gonna trip you out. So now, for this last one, and I know we're gonna talk on this one, cultural gatekeeping. The gatekeepers, the Kevin Harts. Allegedly, our own Jay, Lil J.
That's
Allegedly.
crabs in a bucket.
Exactly. Gatekeeping, not letting people in.
That's major.
Yeah.
Crab in a bucket.
Yeah. Oh, Jay-Z not letting Lil Wayne crabs in the bucket or
No,
business move.
That's
Business.
business.
Okay.
Total
I agree.
business.
I agree. You, Freddie G, same thing. Business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gold. Yeah. So. With that, listeners, that brings us to our black fact. Now, in the beginning of the show, I told y'all we need to stick together. We need to come together, especially in this time when we have 47 in office. So my black fact is none other than Rodney King. And I'm only using one phrase from Rodney King, and that is, can't we all just get along? This concludes our show for Black Friday. And if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast. Also on Facebook and Instagram at the 52 Scott Podcast. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't done so on YouTube.